I'm happy to just be a part of what Rex and I are doing with King James, and also excited to know where God is leading he and I after these many years of being kind of in dormant stage. That all of a sudden now the Lord's just bringing our band back, out of the woodwork, and I had no idea, but my ways are not His ways, and so I'm happy to know that, if I could say it like this, that to sense and feel in my spirit that God's not through with Rex and I, and that there's some other things that are some more work that He's laid out for us to take care of, and so this is so we're in the process, like I said, getting prepared to go in the studio here in the near future and start laying some tracks.
Well, that's really, really awesome, and it's so cool to hear that from you. I mean, it's great to hear that you and Rex and everyone, and I know Matt Hunt and myself with Rocks Productions and Intense Millennium, we're all doing this for the same reason. I mean, you mentioned the relaxing and having some fun and kicking back, but ultimately for the Lord. And it's just cool to hear you say that. Why don't we focus a little bit on the fall here? This re-release is absolutely killer. I was listening to it nonstop for the last couple of weeks, and
awesome.
and I gotta say, one track for some reason, the track "The Calling," it's just sticking out with me. Is there anything special about that track? And maybe lead us into that one real quick.
Well, it's really just knowing your place, and listening. And I think that we all need to be mindful of God's voice, and whenever He's calling, to be mindful of that. And that's kind of what this is about. And so it may not be quite that intuitive of what it's saying, but when I wrote it, that's kind of what we were thinking of, and so, because a lot of times we just miss it, God will speak to us and we just miss it sometimes. I don't think sometimes it means to be intentionally or anything, but it could be that we're just not quite as focused, and so I'm kind of, man, that's really cool that lyric is hitting you that way. I actually, when Matt sent me when Rex sent me the CDs, I was listening to, because it got remastered and what have you, and I was really pleased with what they did with it, and absolutely love the new cover, and really appreciate Matt and Retroactive label for what they're doing with us, and I was listening to it, and I had a kind of a gang over here at my house the other day, and one of the guys, I ride Harley, and these are all Harley riders, and they came over to visit, and they had their wives with them, and they were like, "Hey, Jimmy, play some cuts by King James." And I'm like, oh, okay, and so I put on some stuff, and absolutely felt the Spirit of God on me, man. I was like, even though this was recorded a while back, the Lord's hand was upon what we were doing, and it really tickles me that, God laid on Matt's heart to open up a door for us, and how all that has really reunited Rex and I, and kindled this flame again with what we're doing music, and we're both very excited. I mean, when we get to talking about it, we're like kids again, and so I'm really anxious, and I'm hoping that through the fall, and one thing that with the fall that I'd like to say is that we weren't able to tour on that CD like I wanted to. I really wanted to burn the road up, with that record, and we weren't really able to. So I'm hoping that this is going to open up a door for us to be able to pull some of the cuts off of those tracks, as well as some of the new ones we're going to be writing, when we do hit the road, and be able to plow through that stuff again.
Awesome. I hope so. Hope to get to see you in California. Let's check it out here. This is The Calling off of the new remastered version of The Fall from King James. All right, what'd you guys think of that, man? That track was The Calling, and I said this CD's just been really kicking for me for a while, and the whole thing, The Fall, remastered by Steinhaus Mastering. Got to mention them real quick because they're going to be doing a bunch of stuff for Intense Millennium and Rocks Records also on the way. Well, let's bring Jimi back for a minute here, and let's talk about what he's got going on today. Jimi, I know you got some other projects going on out there.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate you asking. And, before I forget, brother, just for your listeners, you also can check King James out on Facebook, and we also have a MySpace site as well with King James. I've got a solo project that I've had going on for a couple of years that, I have a new CD out. It's called, and my group is called Viktor, and it's spelled with a K, V-I-K-2-R. And we have a website, ViktorBand.com, and you can check us out on Facebook or MySpace as well and hear the stuff that I'm doing with these guys here in Atlanta. But we've got these tracks that we're doing on this particular, we're actually writing and getting ready to go in the studio for some more tracks to be cut with Viktor in South Carolina is where we're doing our recording with this particular project. But there's a song that I think that everyone would enjoy as well. It's entitled Like a Child. This song, it kind of basically is, the writing of it is that we become, a child and have childlike faith, and when we're listening to God, it's where we literally become a child in the Father's eyes. I'm real happy with that particular cut that you're going to play, and it gets good response, whenever we play festivals, because we do play quite a few festivals around this area, in the Atlanta and North Carolina area, and and all these guys that I work with, and it was produced, this particular record was produced by John Lowry, used to be the keyboard player with Petra. He's studio in Nashville, and had the opportunity for Louis Weaver, to play drums on that particular CD, and which was really nice. But the drummer I work with now that's a local guy here is Martin Perry, and he actually is a drummer for Jensen Franklin's church in Gainesville, and it's a pretty big ministry in Atlanta area. But these guys I work with are all studio guys that are just flat good at what they do. And what a privilege it is to work with each one of those guys. But if you can check us out on our website and do a little research on all the players. I think any guitar heads out there will flat love Phil's playing, or drummers on Martin's. And but I am working with a keyboard player named Terry McCullum from Vero Beach, Florida, who is an amazing player and singer. And the bass player, Don Clayman, a local guy here in Atlanta, that has some incredible chops. So you guys, make sure you check out Viktor on the web.
Right on. And Jimi, thank you very much for joining us here on Strictly Stryper for our special one-year anniversary episode.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.